4, 3, 2, 1.
Coming up on the Q30 Newscast, Quinnipiac students will be able to register for their COVID-19 vaccine starting midnight.
Plus, how students are reacting to the school's reaction to xenophobia. All that and more next on the Q30 Newscast.
Welcome to the Q30 Newscast. I'm Hannah Mirsky.
And I'm Stephen Pappas. There's a lot of news to cover tonight, and to begin, the COVID-19 numbers here at Quinnipiac are up.
The university has stayed at the green alert level for the entire month of March. And with the most recent dashboard update, Quinnipiac is only seeing a total of 30 positive cases.
The 30 registered cases tied the most the school has had in a single testing session this semester. The last time Quinnipiac hit 30 cases in one session was on January the 30th.
A portion of the lawsuit filed back in June due to students wanting a tuition refund after moving to remote learning was dismissed. The two parents on the lawsuit were also ruled in no standing to sue the university. Though Judge Cardulli did allow the claim regarding breach of contract and unjust enrichment, Associate Vice President of Public Relations John Morgan said in a statement that the university was pleased to see the judge rule out the parents, also that they'll use the discovery process to help support their decision on moving classes remote instruction as the pandemic worsened.
With more COVID-19 vaccines being rolled out, Quinnipiac announced this week that QU students are now eligible for the vaccine. Grace McGuire has more on the story.
The Bobcat bubble may finally be able to breathe a little easier. All Quinnipiac students will be eligible to register for the vaccine in the next couple of days.
Governor Lamont recently announced that he is speeding up the process of releasing the vaccine. Everyone 16 years of age and older are now able to register for the vaccine on April 1st. Head of Student Experience Tom Ellett recently said in an email that he and Vice President Bethany Zemba strongly encourage everyone to get the vaccine. The email did not state whether or not the vaccine would be mandatory come fall. Some students are still worried about how quickly the vaccine was approved. Professor of Biomedical Sciences Lisa Kuchera said that though this is a normal reaction, it is not entirely accurate.
So I think it's natural to worry about that, but if you think about the timeline of SARS, so SARS was in 2003, this is SARS-CoV-2, so very similar virus. We started studying this way back then, so that's much more than 10 years ago. So it's not like we just started this in January.
Meanwhile, some students who have already been vaccinated, like first-year student Erin Olersic, are more hopeful about the more normal future ahead of them.
I think that I will feel safer going to restaurants. I know my parents, who are both fully vaccinated, have started going more into restaurants.
The university is still deciding whether vaccines will be mandatory for next fall, but it is highly encouraged everyone keeps all the Bobcats safe and gets vaccinated. And in the meantime, as always, keep social distancing and wearing your mask. I'm Grace McGuire, Q30 News.
On April 1st, all Connecticut residents ages 16 and up will be eligible to receive a COVID-19 vaccine. This means about 1.3 million Connecticut residents will be able to register. The original date, April 5th, was moved as the state had an increase in supply due to the release of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, meaning 200,000 residents will be given a dose this week. Connecticut state officials estimate 600,000 residents in the age range of 16 to 14 years old will be eligible. Quinnipiac sent an email to all students on Monday to make sure students know where to register and to promote a vaccine discussion panel that was held yesterday to address any unanswered questions. There are plenty of vaccine sites around Quinnipiac that students can receive their vaccine from, including Quinnipiac Valley Health District in North Haven, CVS Pharmacy Vaccine Clinic and Walgreens in Hamden, Fairhaven Community Health Care in New Haven, and Hartford Healthcare Medical Group in Wallingford. And just this afternoon, Governor Lamont announced that 100 pharmacies have been added to Connecticut's vaccination program.
Classes for the upcoming summer 2021 semester will be eligible to be held in person. Students who are enrolled in the on-ground classes must submit a negative PCR test to their school's dean's office by Sunday, May 16th. All classes will be remote on Monday and Tuesday, May 17th and 18th. Students on those days will be taking their second COVID-19 test on the North Haven campus. In-person classes will start on Wednesday, the 19th, and weekly sampling will continue for all students taking on-ground classes and will be more frequent for those living off campus. Class registration is just around the corner, and Quinnipiac has released each day where students can start registering for classes. Seniors can begin on Monday, April 12th, followed by juniors on April 13th. Sophomores will then register on Thursday, the 15th, capped off by first years on Friday, the 16th. Registrations will officially open at 7 a.m. on each day, so start the Keurig early that morning.
Incoming first-year students will be having an in-person orientation this summer starting in June. There will be around 100 to 150 students per session to match Connecticut's COVID-19 state guidelines. While in the past, students look forward to sleeping over this year. Just like in the past summer, students will only be here for the day. Emma Morales, the orientation intern, says it's still a great opportunity to meet new students.
I think that getting on campus sooner, especially for this year's incoming students, is going to be really, really important in terms of like starting to feel that you are a part of the community a lot earlier on than, you know, this past year's first year students have been.
Both going in person, there will be an online component they can attend.
Quinnipiac first-year class Senator Jennifer McHugh announced on Instagram this week that she will be working with Quinnipiac Counseling Services to create a mental health training course. McHugh went on to say in an Instagram post that this course will be similar to the COVID-19 course that students were required to take before the spring semester.
With the video that's also going to be incorporated into the training course, we wanted to address mental health stigmas that are not just present on your university, but everywhere, kind of just normalizing the conversation on mental health for students, especially after COVID and everything. Our lives all got changed and everything. And I feel like it's important to normalize that conversation. So then that way students can look at the resources after and be more comfortable using them.
Coming up after the break, Liz Flynn is here to give us a national news update.
But before that, Kaylin Terry has your 3-day forecast. Kaylin?
Thanks, guys. I hope you're bringing your raincoats and your rain umbrellas because it has rained all day. As you can see, it's been a little bit cloudy outside, and the rain's not going to stop there, unfortunately. It's going to rain all day tomorrow. But good looks because it is going to be sunny all weekend. On Friday, you're going to have a high of 42 and a low of 26, so stay tuned for that. We'll have more on your weather update when we come back.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Jules, spot on this last one. There it is.
Keep going with it. Leo! They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Newly appointed Chief of Public Safety Tony Reyes wants the students here at Quinnipiac to feel safe on campus. Reyes was appointed the Chief of Public Safety back in January and has had to deal with a stabbing on campus in his first 2 months.
Creating the mechanisms to trust so that the students feel like when they come forward with this, that they're going to be protected, that they're going to be taken seriously, that the steps are going to be taken, and that we have the relationships where students are willing to do that in the first place.
Liz Flynn is in studio for the National News Update. Liz?
Thanks, Steve. 10 months ago, George Floyd was killed in Minneapolis, reigniting the spark of the Black Lives Matter movement. On Monday, the trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin began. Chauvin is facing second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and manslaughter in the death of Floyd. The trial began with opening statements from prosecutors, and Chauvin's defense team and both sides were determined to focus on the facts and the evidence, not the symbolism behind it. Cameras are inside the courtroom, and all proceedings have been either live-streamed or broadcasted to a number of media outlets. Today marks day 3 of the trial and is expected to last about 4 weeks. Colorado police officer Eric Talley was laid to rest on Tuesday afternoon. Talley was the first to respond to the grocery store shooting in Boulder 8 days ago. He made the ultimate sacrifice, and his bravery saved dozens of people. The funeral included a procession and motorcade, while hundreds stood outside waving flags and saluting the American hero. Talley was one of the 10 lives lost in the shooting, and the suspect is in custody. Police say that the handcuffs used to take in the shooter belonged to Officer Eric Talley. The crime wave targeting Asian Americans escalated on Tuesday afternoon. A man was seen punching and kicking a 65-year-old woman on her way to church before fleeing the scene. The attack happened outside an apartment building, and the search for him is still ongoing. An additional investigation is happening regarding what appeared to be 2 security guards inside the building. Video footage shows the 2 seeing the assault, but not intervening. The 2 were suspended pending an investigation. That is all I have for your national news update. Hannah, Steve, back to you.
Thank you, Liz. The first community healing session was held this past Monday to give students a resource and platform to speak on the best ways to overcome hate. With Asian American hate crimes rising, Quinnipiac stands beside the Asian American and Pacific Islander community and wants to use these sessions to combat xenophobia, harassment, and discrimination in any form against any minority groups.
I hope that we understand that the importance of our human connection. I mean, one of the things that I've missed over the years, over this past year, is actually really being able to connect with students in the classroom, walking on campus, or my colleagues. But I also hope that people get an opportunity just to take time to decompress, to learn skills that they can use as we continue to go throughout the rest of the semester.
There will be 2 more sessions, one on April 7th and the last one on April 20th. And while Quinnipiac has been hosting these sessions, many students do not feel the support from the university and are questioning the sincerity of the university's statements. Hepzibah Rajan has more.
At the start of the pandemic, there was a spike in the number of racial crimes across this country. However, Quinnipiac University addressed the Asian American and Pacific Islander communities only after a year on March 19th. Students feel that the university is approaching the Asian hate crime incidents with less sincerity than the Black Lives Matter movement.
Both of the instances with Stop Asian Hate and Black Lives Matter, they both mean the same thing and it should be treated equally. But I feel like there's less communication when it comes to administration talking to us about making these statements than it was with BLM and the organizations and communities involved with that.
The university hosted one of their 3 community healing sessions already, but students want more.
We would like to see much more than just the healing sessions that have been brought up in response to that. I think if healing sessions are where we stop, it would reflect very poorly on the university's statements of commitment, if that's all that commitment entails.
Students urge others to be mindful of all communities that are being mistreated and educate themselves on different cultures.
We have to amplify the voices and take note of who is being hurt and abused and try to not be ignorant.
For Q30 News, I'm Hepzibah Rajan.
Hepzibah Rajan spoke with Helen Tran, the co-founder of QU Culture and treasurer of Asian Student Alliance, earlier today to find out how long ASA has been pushing administration.
Let's send it to Hepzibah right now.
Can you give me a brief description about the interactions you've had with the administration? Has ASA reached out to the administration prior to them sending out this email?
Yeah, so I'll start all the way from like the summer of 2020 when there was one student who said like a racist comment about how like COVID-19 is the Chinese virus, and we wanted to address that, so we reached out to the administration. Many emails were sent to them, and we had a meeting, and mostly they just talked about like they didn't really give us like a solid answer on how on the consequences she'll get, but they really just talked about like how, oh, it's all about education and stuff. So now in our initiative proposal, we talked about how there should be better disciplinary action towards any racist incident, whether if it's just Asians on campus or honestly any marginalized group on campus.
Did administration ever talk to you when things got worse, or did you have to reach out to them first again?
No, like we had to reach out to them during the summer. And even if it's not just what the freshmen said, there are also incidences of homophobia, racism, and all of those incidences. We have to reach out to them. It's never the other way around, based on my observation.
Okay, so were you unaware that the community healing session was being held in light of all the Asian hate crimes that are actually happening? That's why it was actually held. So did you not know that?
Oh, yeah, I knew about it. I just don't know if those events are actually healing or if they're just doing it to do it. I have doubts if it actually is worth my time going.
Coming up after the break, Alyssa Murphy brings in the world of politics.
And Kaylin Terry is back to give us our 7-day forecast. Don't go anywhere.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/therightseat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
The weather has been so beautiful outside, and I don't even have to wear a jacket now, but now it's raining.
Yeah, honestly, as long as it's warm, that's all I care about. Kaylin Terry is here with your 7-day forecast. Kaylin, please tell me that the warm weather stays around.
Unfortunately, Steve, I don't think it's going to. We did see some 60s today. It was, 54 in New Haven and 54 in New London as well. But it was a little bit warmer up in the higher areas of Connecticut, such as Hartford and Danbury. But if we go into the 7-day forecast for Hamden here, you will see that it does drop in temperature in the next few days. Over the weekend, it's going to get a little cooler. For today, it was 60. It'll get a little bit lower going into Thursday and Friday. It'll be 48 and 42. It's going to drop down, but it will raise again coming into the weekend and the next coming Monday and Tuesday. It's going to get up close to the 60s. So your warmer days are coming, but you do have to wait a few days for that, Steve. So I'll toss it back to you guys on the desk.
Well, that's unfortunate. I really wish that we could stay a little warmer. It's always nicer to have those lighter clothes on. But in its inaugural year, Bobcat Unite Giving Days and the third annual Bobcat Challenge raised more than $262,000 from over 2,500 donors. This event stretched 72 hours from March 23rd to the 25th. The event's director of annual giving, Andrew Bernstein, is very grateful for the school's generous alumni.
I'd just like to thank the alumni, the parents, the faculty, staff, the students for supporting this initiative, and the fact that we did it virtually kind of makes a difference too, because you would want to have events on campus and things like that as well that hopefully we can have in future years.
Today marks the last day of Women's History Month. Congress passed a public law in 1987, and from then on, March was the designated month to celebrate all contributions women have made to American history. Quinnipiac commemorated the month with one last keynote speaker, Mercy Clay, a QU alumni working as a professor at Southern Connecticut State University and a columnist for Hearst Connecticut Media Group. Clay spoke about affecting positive social change. With a ton going on in Capitol Hill, Alyssa Murphy has a political update for us. What do you have for us, Alyssa?
President Biden announced new actions on Tuesday geared toward addressing the nation's rise in anti-Asian violence. The administration will allocate $49.5 million from the American Rescue Plan to a new program meant to provide services for survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault. These services are designed particularly for those who face cultural barriers such as language access. Also, a new COVID-19 equity task force will work towards ending xenophobia against Asian Americans. A subcommittee will guide policy decisions on the federal government's response to anti-Asian xenophobia, and the National Science Foundation will conduct research geared toward ending AAPI discrimination. On Tuesday, the Democratic National Committee announced it will review the 2020 presidential nomination process, sparking change in how the party will choose a candidate in 2024. Conducted by members of the party's Rules and Bylaws Committee, the review will focus on relevant issues and reforms from 2020, such as voter participation and caucus arrangements. This evaluation is the first step in a years-long process to change nomination rules prior to the 2024 election. The Biden administration announced a plan to widen the use of offshore wind power along the East Coast on Monday, starting near New York and New Jersey. The goal of this expansion is to capitalize on renewable energy that is predicted to power 10 million homes by 2030. White House National Climate Advisor Gina McCarthy said, quote, "We have an enormous opportunity in front of us to not only address the threats of climate change, but use it as a chance to create millions of good-paying union jobs," end quote. The plan arrives in light of President Biden's roughly $3 trillion economic recovery package, focusing heavily on tackling climate change.
Thanks, Alyssa. Let's take one more break. When we return, Jacob Resnick will give you This Week in Quinnipiac Sports.
And Melanie Carreri tells us about her top 3 hiking spots near Quinnipiac. We'll be right back.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
Welcome back. Quinnipiac students were able to enjoy the men's hockey team's NCAA regional tournament game from the Quinnipiac Field Hockey Stadium last Saturday. The field was open up for a watch party as the Bobcats took on the Minnesota State Mankato Mavericks in Loveland, Colorado. While students were not allowed in arenas all season, it was a nice alternative to how fans watched throughout the entire season.
I like it, yeah. I mean, it's not like, we're not in the stadium, obviously, so it's not as good as it could be, but I like that they're doing something at least.
I won't spoil the result for our very own Jacob Resnick, who has more on how men's hockey fared this weekend, along with other Quinnipiac sports news. Jacob?
Thanks, guys. The Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team was this close to pulling off an upset in the first round of the NCAA tournament on Saturday. In the end, though, it was the Minnesota State Mavericks who won 4-3 in overtime. Bobcats got out to a fast start with Captain Odin Tufto and Peter Deliberatore scoring in the first period, but it was all Minnesota State after that, outscoring Quinnipiac 4-1 the rest of the way. Cade Borchert tied it with a minute left in regulation, and 11 minutes into the extra period, Ryan Sandlin buries the game winner. You'll see it here, sneaking in front of the net and able to just tip it in past Keith Petrozelli. The Mavericks moved on to face number 1 Minnesota Gophers on Sunday and got the job done. They'll be heading to the Frozen Four next week in Pittsburgh. Quinnipiac finishes its season 17-8-4. Some good news, though, for the men's ice hockey team. Odin Tufto and Peter Deliberatore, you just saw scoring in the tournament game. They're heading to the pros. Tufto and Deliberatore signed entry-level NHL contracts this week with the Tampa Bay Lightning and Vegas Golden Knights, respectively. Tufto finished his senior year as the Bobcats' second all-time leading point getter and will head to Tampa's minor league affiliate in Syracuse. Deliberatore tallied 60 points in 3 seasons in Hamden and will begin his career with Vegas' minor league squad in Henderson, Nevada. And finally, Bobcats volleyball finished its regular season on Sunday on the highest of notes. Quinnipiac battled the previously undefeated Fairfield Stags to 5 sets and came away with the victory. The Bobcats fell behind 2-0 and won the next 3 to take down the Stags for only the second time in program history. Junior Maggie Baker led the way with 16 kills, and first-year setter Chloe Ka'ahanui dished out a season-best 44 assists. Next up for the Bobcats is this weekend's MAC tournament in Albany. They'll be on the floor tomorrow morning at 11 to face the Canisius Golden Griffs. That's the latest from Bobcat Nation. Back to you guys on the desk.
The weather is getting warmer and students are already making their way across campus and over to Sleeping Giant. But there are so many more hiking trails you can check out this spring. Our very own Melanie Carreri went to some of the most beautiful local hiking spots and gave us her top 3 picks.
I am here at the beautiful Sleeping Giant State Park, a hiking hotspot for Quinnipiac students. However, some students may not realize that there are so many other hidden gems to explore out there within 20 minutes of campus. Here are some of my top 3 picks.
The Lake Wintergreen Hiking Trail is filled with beautiful views and multiple trails for all hiking levels. Located in Hamden, the drive from the Mount Carmel campus to the park is a quiet 20-minute drive. The trail features views of cliffs, the Merritt Parkway, multiple lakes, and serene pathways. Students who have never heard of this trail are willing to explore the views.
I would definitely go see it. I'm a very scenic person, so I'd love to go see like the water and the view and like bring my friends and go have fun and just go there.
My next pick is Roaring Brook Falls, a trail that features an 80-foot waterfall. Located in Cheshire and 15 minutes from main campus, this trail is the perfect change of scenery. Not only is the waterfall loved by hikers, but even the trail itself is enjoyable.
The hike up to it is just as impressive and important as the falls themselves, because the trail is organized in such a way that you get to go right up to the edge and you get to get different views of the falls. And you can hear the falls before you see them, so you have a sense of anticipation as you're walking on the trail.
My last pick is Tidal Marsh Trail, located in the heart of North Haven and a 17-minute drive from main campus. This trail features a whimsical pathway parallel to a pretty view of the lake.
As the weather gets warmer and spring is blooming, these trails are the perfect way to spend some time outside and get some fresh air. Melanie Carreri reporting for Q30 News.
And sadly, this is all we have for this week's newscast.
So follow us on Twitter at Q30 Television and visit our website at Q30TV.com. For Hannah Mirsky, I'm Stephen Pappas. Stay safe and good night, everybody.